peritoneum down to the skin and fascia of the back. فحتى ندرس هاي المنطقة لازم نطلع على المين ستراكشر الموجودة. فرح نرسل نشوف شنو posterior abdominal wall. You see here axial section at the level of elbow. The posterior wall is mostly prominent in this region. So by definition, we draw this layout. This is the posterior layer of parietal peritoneum. The posterior layer of parietal peritoneum. At this level, or for vertebra. The axial section is horizontal section. We mean by axial section is horizontal section of the body. What are the structure that lies posterior to this layer? We know from the previous lab section that the pancreas, ascending and descending column, together with the second part of duodenum and the third part the retroperitoneal part of this organ. So, we draw always the axial section is viewed from the inferior aspect. Keep in mind. So, when we draw this inferior aspect, we mean this here the right region, and this is the left region. In the right region, we have the ascending column, and here we have the descending column. What are the other parts we mentioned? This is the pancreas. This is the scheme of the pancreas. And this is the second part of the duodenum and the third part of the duodenum. This is the pancreas. This is the duodenum descending, and this is the duodenum transverse. So, these organs are part of an organ that lies posterior to the parietal layer of peritoneum. This region, therefore, are situated posterior to the parietal peritoneum. So what is posterior to this organ? Posterior to this organ are the layer of the fascia of renal fascia, which is the fascia of Girotti. This is this layer the Girotti fascia. أخذتوا سابقا. This is fascia of Girotti. So this organ lies between the posterior layer of parietal peritoneum and the fascia of Girotti, which is the anterior layer of renal fascia. Anterior layer of renal fascia. So there is a space between this layer and this layer. This space is collectively the anterior renal space. The anterior renal space. فمن الأساسيات المهمة what are the organs or part of organ from the anterior renal space. What is the anterior renal space? Where is the position? And what are the organs? النقطة الثانية. These parts of organ are retroperitoneally, but once in embryonic life or in fetal life, these organs all has peritoneum, but lose it subsequently. So these organ عندهم خصوصية نسميها secondary retroperitoneal organ. So these part of organ تعريف الحقيقي لهم هم retroperitoneal in adult, but actually are secondary retroperitoneal, not primary retroperitoneal. Why? Because these organ in fetal life once has peritoneal coverage. So this is very important. فبنيجي نحكي what are the content of anterior renal space. The anterior renal space is situated between the parietal peritoneum and the anterior layer of renal tissue, mostly prominent at an axial view at the L4 vertebra. What are the content? The content are secondary retroperitoneal organ, namely the ascending and descending column, the second and third part of the duodenum, and the retroperitoneal part of the pancreas. Retroperitoneal part of the pancreas. نجي نتحول إلى space آخر. There is a space sandwich between the gyrotic fascia and Zucker-Gandel fascia. This is the Zucker-Gandel fascia, or the posterior layer of renal fascia. The posterior layer of renal fascia. فهذا نسميها anterior layer of renal fascia. And this is the posterior layer of renal fascia. So here the space namely نسميه the perirenal space. Perirenal space. Perirenal space sandwiched between the gyrotic fascia and the Zucker-Gandel fascia, or namely the anterior layer of renal fascia and the posterior layer of renal fascia. What are the contents in this space? This space contains the kidneys on each side, the suprarenal on each side, the perirenal part, on each side. Now, where is the pararenal part? Pararenal part here. This is the pararenal part outside the facial layer. So, when we gain access, surgical access to the kidneys, we must incise here the skin and fascia. Skin and fascia. Then case the pararenal part is embedded outside the fascia of the Zucker-Gandel. This is important. This is what we call the perirenal space, and there here we have the posterior renal space. Posterior renal space. Here we have the aorta and the inferior vena cava and their branches. This is the aorta. This is the inferior vena cava. So this is important. The aorta, the inferior vena cava together with those branches, and the kidneys all are situated in the perirenal space, in addition to the perirenal fat and the renal capsule. What are the content of the posterior renal space? Here we have the musculoskeletal structure only. Musculoskeletal structure. Namely, the muscles of the posterior abdominal wall. Namely, the psoas major, minor, quadratus lumborum muscle, and the facial coverage around them. These facial layer all bent laterally to perform the lumbar fascia. Bends laterally to perform the lumbar fascia. So, نجي نحكي الآن على اللمبر fascia. The lumbar fascia is multilayer fascia, sandwiching the musculoskeletal structure of the posterior abdominal wall. هاي مهم. The lumbar fascia لما نجي نعرفها هي multilayer fascia sandwiching the musculoskeletal structure of the posterior abdominal wall. فلما نيجي نرسمها أول ما نرسم this is the psoas muscle. psoas muscle. اوكي وهنا عندنا الكوادريتس lumborum muscle. الإركتر spine muscle. وهنا عندنا latissimus dorsi muscle. latissimus dorsi muscle. نجي هسه نرسم اللايرز مال رينال فاشيا. هاي layer, هاي layer, and this one is also a layer. These are the layers of the renal of the lumbar fascia. طبعا هذا الموضوع وعر جدا يعني هنا بنمسك كيوات بالدوخ. هاي layer نسميها anterior layer. This is the middle layer, this is the posterior layer. فبالتالي psoas muscle is anterior to the anterior layer of lumbar fascia. Quadratus muscle is embedded between the anterior and the middle layer. The erector spinae muscle embedded between the middle and the posterior layer. The latissimus dorsi muscle is posterior. So this is important. Together, bend laterally, bend laterally, يعطونا attachment مع anterior abdominal wall muscle. Anterior abdominal wall muscle. Become an origin of the anterior abdominal wall muscle. Where in the renal fascia, that bend laterally gave attachment to the fascia transversalis muscle. Posterior abdominal wall. فهذه فقرات خلوها باركم تجيكم كأسيف تجيكم كMCQ لازم ترسمها حتى تتعلم. هاي المنطقة بقى خط جراحة المسالك البولية أو جراحة حتى الابdominal cavity, the posterior access to the abdominal cavity. It's important to understand the point that you may face in this region. Dissection, you see here this is the kidneys on either side. The left kidney situated between T12 and L2. The right kidney situated between L1 and L3. Why? The right kidney lies at a lower level because of indentation performed by the liver. This is the see about the kidney. Now it is the part 2 that lines the kidney. Fibrous capsule that lines the kidney. اختيار سبيس نشوف يعني يجيك هذا النموذج بالبوينت أو يجيك يعني كسبورت إكزام. يجيك السؤال فقط identify the space. عافية. This is the perirenal space. Why? Because you are viewing directly the kidneys, the aorta and inferior vena cava and their branches. Where is the anterior renal space? The anterior renal space is excised here that contains the descending colon and the retroperitoneal part of duodenum and pancreas. This is the control, this is the inferior vena cava. This is the left renal vein of the machine. You are seeing now the anterior distal. In the anterior aspect of the aorta, you see the visceral branches, which are the celiac trunk, this one, at the level of fecal. This is the superior mesenteric level of trunk, and here the inferior mesenteric trunk at the level of L3. The contact between this is important. Here, the medulla and the ventricle situated. Inferiorly, at the angle between the superior mesenteric artery and the aorta, situated the left renal vein. The uncinate process of the pancreas, that part. So this is the left renal, okay? Left renal. Important to structure the anterior aspect of the serous muscle are the ureter and the gonadal vessels on the inferior genitofemoral nerve. But this is the sports cerebrospinal mesenteric spinal muscle. So this is the ureter, this is the gonadal vessels, and this is the serous major muscle. See here the aorta, four lumbar lateral branches. The veins follow them. The structure of the renal, هذا يسمى المنطقة شنو النهاية. The organization, the structure.
كفاية الأشياء.